And John, I think the question right now on cost of capital is now, do businesses, do they think in the nominal space, or is everybody a slave to the inflation-adjusted analysis?
Well, Tom, if you think about it, we haven't had these kind of inflation problems since the late 70s, early 1980s. So many businesses are simply not used to handling an inflationary environment. And money illusion exists amongst consumers, and money illusion exists amongst businesses as well. I mean, if you look at the policy rate, so start with the policy rate, with a CPI inflation rate of 8.6%, you're still looking at a policy rate that is extremely negative in real terms. So all the anxiety about the Fed raising interest rates, it has to be looked at in the context of that inflation rate. And businesses, I think, the idea that we've had this bear market in equities, but it's been a multiple adjustment to a higher nominal yield. It hasn't so far been an earnings adjustment.
And I think of you and Michael Darda on this, and this is with your work at the Bank of England at the Fed years ago. So many people haven't lived this. And what I'm hearing from relative optimists, we will adjust as yields move higher. We will adjust as Powell, Lagarde, and the rest bring up interest rates like New Zealand this morning. Do you have that optimism that will adjust along the way?
Well, there will be adjustments along the way. And to the issue, and sorry to take issue with Matt, for example, 2 negative quarters of GDP, if we have them, don't make a recession. A recession is inevitable, but I don't think that it's imminent. And as companies, I don't think companies experienced a recession or negative GDP in the first quarter. If you look at the income side of the accounts, a second equally valid measure of GDP expanded by 1.8%. And if you look at business surveys and you look at household surveys, people are negative about the economy because they're trying to handle this inflation problem, but they're relatively positive about their own financial prospects. Companies are relatively positive, small businesses are relatively positive about their own outlook. So there's this disconnect because people are trying to adjust to that inflation problem, and they haven't experienced doing it. But research shows, contrary to what the Fed has tried to do, that households do not like inflation. Businesses do not like inflation.
Yeah.